We spend a lot of time complaining about what is not working in America today. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else. But I want to remind us all that we really should give thanks for the fact that we live in America today. So we'll ponder that next on the Constitution Study.
Every day, we're everyday Americans. Hold our own and call it home. Put it all on a little piece of land. Pay the bills, stay out of jail. Love the neighbors and have a few good friends. Every day, we're everyday Americans.
Hello again, everyday Americans. Paul Engel here with the Constitution Study, where we read and study the Constitution. We teach the rising generation to be free. I want to wish you all a happy, safe, healthy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're enjoying time with family and friends, maybe eating a little too much, maybe watching a little too much football, whatever it is. I hope you're thankful for the fact that you live in the United States of America. Now, to those of you who take these videos and share them, I want to thank you so much. I want to point everybody over to the website, constitutionstudy.com, but especially those of you who are sharing this message. That's really what I'm working on, getting the message out so that people know, you don't have to be a law school student to understand the Constitution. In fact, I think you're probably better off if you're not a law school student, but that's a personal opinion. I want to thank you for everything you do to help encourage the work that I'm doing, and I want to keep sharing these videos and the articles with you. You're going to start seeing some changes. December 1st, I'm going to start changing some of the format, some of the layout. So I'm going to try and sync up my web articles with a podcast episode. So I'll still have the 2 podcast episodes, but one will be tied to a web article. The other one will be like this. It'll be a ponder this, where it's a little free form and off the top of my head. But with that, I want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. Now, the Pilgrims have really kind of gotten short shrift. I remember when I was a kid, we were all taught about people in funny hats and buckle shoes and, hanging out with Indians because, well, they almost died. And we really didn't get a very good picture of what actually went on. I mean, we hopefully know the Pilgrims came to the New World to get away from religious persecution. They showed up at the wrong place. They were supposed to show up in Virginia. They ended up in Massachusetts. It was wintertime, and things were not very good. That spring, they planted some crops. They failed, and by the end of the second winter, almost all of them were dead. And the only reason they survived were the native inhabitants. They were called Indians. I know now we're supposed to call them Native Americans, and I guess that sort of makes sense. But the stories all refer to them as Indians. And in fact, the Constitution refers to them as Indians. And they were helped by them. They showed up, and these native peoples didn't see the Pilgrims as invaders. They saw them as people looking for a place to live their life the way they wanted, and not to impose themselves on others. And they helped, and they were thankful. They had a great feast. It was like a 3-day feast. There were lots of foods that we don't eat today, and actually not that many foods we do eat today. But they had a celebration. They ate food, they played games, they even shot guns. Woohoo! And they gave thanks for the Indians that were there to help them. And in fact, the closest relations, some of the longest held treaties between the settlers and the natives came from the Pilgrims. Now, a lot was done to the Indian nations after that. American people broke treaties left, right, and center with them, and that's terrible. But we started off with this wonderful relationship of people looking for freedom, people with good neighbors, and that's what they were. They were neighbors, and they acted that way. They helped each other out. They enjoyed each other's company, and that's where we get the tradition of Thanksgiving. Now, if you watch these videos, if you listen to the podcast, if you read the articles I write, you'll see I have a lot to complain about when it comes to the federal government, and a fair amount to complain about when it comes to the state government. But the thing I try not to complain about, because it really is pretty good, is the country, the United States of America. See, while we're no longer the freest nation in the world, we are still one of the freer nations in the world. You know, we're still a place where people will risk life and limb to come to, not to leave. You don't see a lot of people risking their life trying to get out of America. You see people that are willing to risk their lives to get into America. They're willing to break laws to get into America because we have such great opportunity. Now, if we spent a little less time listening to the people who tried to divide us, who tried to set us against each other, well, then maybe we'd be a little more thankful for the fact that we live in a nation that grants us the liberties we have. You know, maybe if we spent a little less time being put into groups, we'd realize that our neighbors are just that, neighbors. They don't have to look like me. They don't have to make as much money as I do. They don't have to think like me. They don't have to act like me. We don't have to believe the same things to be neighbors and to be neighborly. No, we should give thanks that we're not divided with walls, except the walls that we erect in our own heart. So I want everyone to have a happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you'll consider looking to your neighbors, saying hello, offering to have to share something with them, offering to help them when they need it. Remember that America is not simply our government. In fact, America isn't our government. It's this idea of freedom and liberty. And while we should fight vigorously to protect them, we should be fighting those in power that are trying to take them away from us, not our neighbors who are trying to live their lives, trying to survive on what they have. We should be more like the Pilgrims and the Indians, willing to set aside differences, come together, have a feast of Thanksgiving, even if we disagree with them. So the next time Uncle Charlie comes to dinner and just lights everybody up with some outrageous comment, okay, be thankful that he has the opportunity to say that and that you have the opportunity to disagree with him. And that you're not worried that one of the people at the table will turn you into the secret police to give you a visit in the middle of the night. So be thankful that you live in the United States of America while you work to make this a better country than it is today, with a better government than it is today. Most of all, enjoy your food, enjoy your football, enjoy whatever your traditions are. And come back here next time and we'll discuss what's going on with our government on the Constitution Study.
You have to know wherever you make your stand. Came from a long through line of everyday